I mean, back then it was really good to have him win that streak. But can you think of anybody else who you know other than the Fiend and Reigns?
No, not at all.
You know,
Definitely not Brock.
no, not Brock.
And actually, with the Roman Reigns thing, so a friend of mine shared a thing about The Rock getting I think it was a gold record for his singing for "You're Welcome" in the movie Moana. Which, if you haven't seen the movie Moana, it's an animated movie. Rock plays a character on it. Basically, it's an arrogant god. It's pretty funny.
I've heard about him doing that.
Yeah. And someone commented, he goes, he was at top of the wrestling business. He was, now he's a major Hollywood guy, and now he has this record going for him. Is there anything that Rock can do? And I just commented, couldn't get Roman over, which is true. He tried to get Roman over in the Royal Rumble. And he's like, well, they could probably face off now at WrestleMania. I'm like, oh, yeah, this version of Roman versus The Rock in WrestleMania would be good. Yeah. 2015 Roman, it would be very bad.
Oh, yeah. That would not have been a good choice. I mean, I know there's been teasing about them facing off Rock and Reigns, and I guess it would be all right. And
if they do, I want The Rock to go for the People's Elbow and get speared.
That's a possibility. What would happen? Very much so. I never say never. So, but I don't know how that's going to work out, especially for at least this WrestleMania, because he's already booked for a movie in that time frame. So it can't be this year. Who knows if that's ever going to happen, or he'll ever wrestle again he'll have to, obviously, but he's got to do it because he wants to. He'll need what they're going to offer, but I don't know when that match would take place, if or what. So, but it can't happen next year because, like I said, he's already tied into the movie.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see if they ever do that. And you and I talked about Vince being kind of out of touch. Apparently, for this last SmackDown, Vince arrives on Friday and rips up the script and completely rewrites it with Bruce Pritchard on the fly. This is that bullshit with Vince. This is that bullshit that needs to stop.
He's
rewritten. This is why their storylines don't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah, he's rewritten scripts on the fly a number of times. He's been doing it more often recently. We'll just say recently, and it's like my problem is it's like if you have their storylines and their scripts are not getting really that well anyways. Especially when their usual writers are writing them. And for y'all to understand, that may not understand, a number of these writers are not even wrestling writers. They're just from TV dramas and plays and so forth. Yeah, that's entertainment, but it's a different type of entertainment.
It's not bad if they're fans. And the only reason I say
yeah. I don't mean that. Yeah,
I don't have a history in the wrestling business, but I do think I could write a decent storyline given the chance. It's just there has to be cohesiveness. And one of the things that Mark and I discussed, because I do write in my own time pursuing the finishing a novel, a lot of the actions I have to sit and think how a person got into a situation, why the person got in that situation, and what else interactions could make sense for it to happen in that situation. It doesn't feel like with WWE's writing, especially with Vince McMahon rewriting the script day of, that makes any sense. You go from situations where Retribution, they want to destroy WWE, but now they want a contract with Raw. What the hell happened? Yeah. So there's no cohesiveness, there's no sequence in thinking, and Vince just needs to stop. He just needs to stop and let, at this point, let Triple H take over. Just back away. Let Triple H be in charge.
I know a lot of people are telling me that, well, it's a $1 billion business. Why do you need so many writers in that company when at one point, I mean, I get the fact that they have more shows than they did many years ago. I get the fact of that. But for your main shows, why do you need what? I don't know how many writers they even have. It's a fair amount, from what I understand. But it's I just I know it's a different company it was back then, way back then. But it's just you look at your product from say early 2000s, say that the characters were different. They never get promoted really well, and your storylines were just. I mean, I understand you can't write what you had from back then to now, but you can still open the playbook, man. Yeah, I know a lot of people are looking. Oh, let's bring back the Attitude Era. You can't bring back the Attitude Era anymore. It's done. It's over with. It's gone. No way you can bring it back. It's eliminated. But you can still open up the playbook, man. You got to open it up. It's like a coach, head coach of a sports team. You got to open up the playbook, and think of some ridiculous creative. But that's like I said, we talked about when we talked about before, they have a couple good storylines, but it's just they're not carrying it more to what better gets to your stars, to your up and comers. It's like you're not building the new stars.
No, they're not.
Yeah, it's like you have one or two guys go down. That's a huge hurt. At one point, it wasn't as much as like that.
Well, right. So, like when Stone Cold was out due to his neck injury, it became the Triple H versus Rock.
Yeah, and that was fine.
Yeah,
and you also had Kurt Angle getting the really big pop. He was coming up really strong. So a Taker there.
Taker.
Kane was still going. Jericho was around, doing good. Big Show. It was that Ross was so in depth. It was so deep, and to where if you lost to Austin, it was a big hurt because he was the huge red hot star. Put butts in the seats and everything else, but I totally get that. But they made up for it. They had their guys that they could go to, and you have it now, huh?
And with Austin, you can kind of have that again. I think Owens is a prime example of someone that they can have that could fill the Austin gap now.
Yeah. I mean, it's there enough. By the way, to recap on something, people are probably thinking, why can't you bring back the Attitude Era? Because you don't have a Rock, you don't have an Austin, you don't have a Taker, you don't have all those superstars that you can't duplicate it. You just can't. It's done.
Not completely. I think you can touch on certain points, and I mean by that is like honestly, Kevin Owens is not Steve Austin, but do I think that Kevin Owens' character can hit at the same place that Austin did in a way? Yeah, I think Kevin Owens fits the average American, even though he's Canadian. He fits the average American.
Just the average regular person. That's what really was. It's just he's a regular guy.
Owens can touch that.
However, he can't do the Attitude Era. Mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can have traits. Nothing wrong with traits. They had traits back in the ruthless aggression era too. But John Cena, or Randy Orton, trying to write the things that happened back in 97, 98 wouldn't have fit.
No. Orton's not Austin. He doesn't have the attitude to be Austin. I think Owens has the attitude to be Austin. And I'll give you an example because, like, one of the things that JR said a lot of times when Austin came out and he was ready to kick ass, he goes, he's walking, he's talking. And even Austin said he used to just talk to psych himself up when he's walking to the ring. I don't think Owens would ever be able to do that. However, one of the things I give Owens a lot of credit for, especially in the pandemic, is he likes to talk during his matches, and he sounds like an asshole when he does it.
Yeah.
Like when he faced Rollins at WrestleMania, he's like, "Oh, how are you doing, Messiah?" Things like that.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about before is someone said Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns are equivalent to The Rock of Austin. One of the things I just thought of
Who?
Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns.
Oh man.
And I can kind of understand where they're coming from.
A little bit. Barely, but
and one of the things you and I talked about that happened this earlier tonight, because we were recording this Monday night, is McIntyre is champion. they're going to do McIntyre versus Roman at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I was surprised a little bit that Drew won, but not. It's not overly shocked, but I'm glad they did that, honestly.
One thing I don't like about it is if they're going to have a finish, I feel like they're going to make Drew lose, and I don't like that.
I'm pretty dang sure Drew's going to lose, honestly. With the way the character's going, direction of Reigns, he's still fresh with this character, new direction of the character. I don't see Roman Reigns losing. It's not going to happen.
Which is kind of crazy to think about because Drew beat Brock in his first go, and it took like 4 goes before Roman beat Brock.
Yeah, I know. I'm not disagreeing with that. I guess I look at it as a different time frame, and yeah. I mean, I do understand what you're saying, though.
And it kind of sucks because like I feel like they gave Drew the title for them to have this match, and now Drew's going to probably lose the title before the Royal Rumble again. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, okay, you guys had something good in Drew McIntyre, and now you're going to fucking break it again.
Yeah. It's one thing to lose the title, but it's how the process really goes, the storytelling, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and I'm interested in seeing where they take this thing at, and it's and how far can you take? I mean, the appeal of it take McIntyre in order. I know you're not into it. I'm still pretty well into it. Not as much as I was, but I'm still okay with it as I like they're going at it. But how far they're willing to take it is, and it's I think it's a good storyline in a way. Thinking is these two guys despise each other that much, and it's about the title. It's about each week they gotta get one up on each other, and it's like I'm still fairly into it, but not totally as much as I used to. But if they did not go with Orton and Drew, you got the Fiend. However, where they want to take the Fiend now, they want to take the Fiend more face, or obviously he gets cheers anyways. It depends on what the direction they're really wanting to go with it, and between now and also long term. So it's obviously said Reigns ain't gonna lose this Sunday and or next Sunday, or Larry will say it this coming up Sunday. And if they want to end off a DQ, cool, but I don't think it's gonna happen. They're gonna make Reigns go over.
Probably. And one of the things I saw recently about Reigns is apparently everybody wanted to make Reigns a heel prior. They didn't think he was ready for it, and they needed him to kind of deal with it a lot longer, which in one perspective I can understand because he was still kind of new to wrestling when he made the main roster debut with the Shield. But at the same time, you could have took him off TV sooner and let him get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that too.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said this before, I'll say it again. We talk about a different type of Austin and all that stuff. Dean Ambrose, and they dropped the ball, messed up. It just he could have been the next big thing. No pun intended.
Well, and that's obviously seen with him being Jon Moxley.
Well, I'm talking about WWE's version, though.
Right.
Yeah, he's doing great in AEW, obviously. Very much so, obviously. The character they have in AEW is great. I just thought, WWE could utilize that a lot better off, and they could have made him, you're talking about the Austins, and I thought that's where they could have took some of that formula and put it in with Ambrose, but, like I said, they talking about mishaps on that part, but for y'all who ain't listening to, there's other mishaps in other companies too. But WWE has a very notorious, obviously, track record. So, anyways, we can move.
Actually, you just raised something that I didn't even think of. I was going to ask you, where do you think? So, actually, let me preface this. Zelina Vega was not just a WWE person. She was in TNA. She was, I can't remember if she was Serena or Rosita, when a part of LAX, but she was 100% in TNA. With that said, where do you think Zelina shows up?
Obviously, it's going, in my viewpoint, it's going to be Impact. or AW.